theme for the week of March 16th through March 20th: Wisdom Through Experience. Episode number 37: Lessons Life Keeps Teaching Us. Lessons Life Keeps Teaching Us. Hello and welcome to Cup of Cocoa and Chat. No matter what time of day you're listening, I'm glad you decided to spend a few minutes with me. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's chat. Today we're talking about something every single one of us experiences: the lessons life keeps teaching us. So, I want to talk about something that happened to me this weekend that ties into our podcast theme. While I was going through that experience, it reminded me that sometimes the lessons we need in life are the ones we already know. So, I went to get my lash extensions done this weekend. Haven't got my lashes done in a while. I used to get them done every 2 to 3 weeks. And so I wanted to get back into that because I've been depressed lately. And so I wanted to do something special for myself. So I said, let's get my lashes done because I get my nails and my pedicures all the time. So let's get my lashes done. So everything was going fine. And then the lash technician asked if I wanted my brows done. Now, those that know me know my skin is very, very, very sensitive. I had issues where I had to be rushed to the hospital with just coloring my hair. So when she asked, my face was like, kind of scrunched up. If you know me, I make faces a lot. Um, she said, I'm very gentle. It won't hurt. Now, mind you, it's just threading. I've had threading one time before, and to me, it was it was uncomfortable. It hurt a little. It was uncomfortable. And she said, I'm very gentle. It won't hurt. Now, here's the thing. I know my skin is sensitive, right? As I told you, something as simple as coloring my hair or bleaching my hair can give me a reaction. Years ago, I stopped getting my brows waxed because I'm allergic to the wax. I would get little bumps or whatever around my brows. I even tried brow tint. My hairstylist, she tints brows, right? And her and I both are not thinking that remembering that I had this allergic reaction to hair dye, right? We're not even thinking, especially not me. I said, okay, go ahead, Alicia, do my brows. I broke out, right? My skin doesn't like dark dyes, right? So I was really hesitant when the technician was trying to do my brows. But in that moment, I wasn't thinking about the bigger picture. And y'all that know me, y'all know that's Mercedes in the background. She has allergies really bad. So, like I said, I wasn't thinking about the bigger picture. That when you have sensitive skin, anything can trigger a reaction. It just depends on how severe, how mild or moderate the reaction is. So after she finished threading my brows, and I actually did a video that I'm going to post so you can actually see my brows and what I was talking about as far as the reaction that I had. So after she finished threading my brows, she put something on them that looked like aloe vera gel because I was looking at it. And again, I'm still not thinking that I'm allergic to parabens, and it's another long P word, but I'm allergic, right? Because all of that stuff are ingredients that are in hair dyes, especially the dark ones, right? Still not even thinking, right? The right side didn't hurt as much, but when she got to the left side, right, that hurt a little more. It was more uncomfortable for me, right? So, like I said, she put something on them that looked like aloe vera gel because it was like it was green. And later, my brows started puffing up. And I said, when she showed me, I said, oh, see, I'm breaking out already. So she said, no. She said it might be there for a minute or two. Just give it a minute or two, right? So I said, okay, right. So yesterday, while I was sitting taking my Benadryl and feeling drowsy, it made me think about something very important. Okay? Sometimes in life we already know the answer, but we ignore that little voice that says, maybe this isn't a good idea. So keep that in mind. We already know the answer, and we ignore that voice that's telling us maybe that isn't a good idea. So let's just roll into the life experiences that we go through daily. These are experiences that teach us what advice cannot. People can tell us all the time, but until we live it, we don't always understand it. Number one, relationships. One place where experience teaches us the most is relationships. When we are younger, we often believe what people say. But as we get older, we start paying attention to what people do. Experience teaches us things like who shows up when we need them, who only shows up when it benefits them, who respects our boundaries, and who ignores our boundaries. Sometimes wisdom comes after we ignore the little signs. Maybe someone keeps disappointing us. Maybe someone keeps crossing a boundary. So at first we may say maybe it was a mistake. But after a while, experience starts whispering, no, this is a pattern. And that's when wisdom grows. Because wisdom teaches us that love does not require us to tolerate disrespect. Experience teaches us how to set boundaries, how to communicate clearly, and how to protect our peace. And sometimes the hardest lesson relationships teach us is this: not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. We hear it all the time. People come in your life for a season, and we know that seasons change. Okay? And with that being said, some people are teachers. Remember that. Some people are teachers. So they're not meant to stay. They're meant to teach us a valuable lesson that we should hold on to for the next teacher or the next person who comes in our life for a season. Number 2, money. Right, money. Money is another area where experience becomes our greatest teacher. Now, stay with me. Most of us learn about money the hard way. And my niece and I, we went to brunch on Sunday, and we were talking about this very same thing. We both agreed that the things that we know now about money, financial literacy, and all of those things, the things we know now, if we knew when we were younger, we probably would be millionaires. We probably would be millionaires, right? So maybe we overspent when we were younger. Maybe we trusted someone with our finances. Maybe we didn't understand credit or budgeting. But experience starts teaching us important things like the value of saving. And if you listen to me regularly, I talk about saving, saving, saving. High yield savings accounts and saving for your future, because one day you will retire. And savings is very important. Okay? Experience starts teaching us important things like the value of saving, the importance of planning, and the difference between needs and wants. Experience teaches us that financial peace is not about having the most money. It's about having control over your money instead of your money controlling you. Okay? And many people reach a point in their life where they realize, I wish someone had taught me this sooner. And that was the discussion that we were having on Sunday. But wisdom says something important. It is never too late to become financially aware. So if that is happening for you now, great. It's never too late. Sometimes wisdom looks like paying off debt, building an emergency fund, and learning to live within your means. And when you gain that wisdom, you can also teach others, especially the younger generation. Now we get into number 3, health. Health. That's where I can raise my hand, right? Health is another place where experience speaks loudly. Many of us don't truly appreciate our health until something happens. Maybe we experience a health scare, chronic fatigue, stress catching up with us, and an allergic reaction like the one I experienced. Sometimes our bodies try to warn us, but we ignore the signs. We push ourselves too hard. We say things like, I'll deal with it later. But wisdom reminds us your body keeps the score. Your body keeps the score. Experience teaches us to listen to our bodies, to rest when we need to rest, to slow down when our bodies say slow down. Health wisdom can mean drinking more water, getting more sleep, managing stress, or just simply paying attention to how our body reacts to things. And sometimes wisdom simply learn, I'm sorry, and sometimes wisdom simply means learning to prioritize ourselves. Because if we're not healthy, we cannot show up fully for anyone else. And finally, one of the greatest lessons experience teaches us is trusting our instincts. That inner voice. That one that told me I knew that I should not be letting this lady do anything to my brows. That inner voice. That little feeling that says something about this doesn't feel right. Many of us have ignored that voice before, me included. Maybe we ignore it in relationships, business decisions, health choices, and everyday situations. And afterwards, we say, I knew better. I definitely knew better. That instinct was speaking. Wisdom teaches us to listen early next time because intuition is often the result of experience. Your mind and your spirit are recognizing patterns. It's not always something you can explain logically, but it's sometimes, but I'm sorry, but it is something you feel deeply. It's something you feel deeply. And as we grow in wisdom, we learn something powerful. Trusting your instincts is a form of self respect. Trusting your instincts is a form of self respect. You are honoring your own discernment. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have discernment when it comes to certain things or when it comes to a lot of things, right? But eventually you get it. So as we move through life, wisdom does not always come from books or advice. I could give you all the advice on the planet, but that doesn't give you the wisdom. because wisdom comes from experience. Okay? Sometimes wisdom comes from mistakes, uncomfortable experiences, difficult lessons, and moments when we ignore what we already know or what we already knew. But every experience carries a lesson. And I learned a valuable one on Saturday. I know my body better than anyone else. And I knew in the moment when the technician was trying to convince me that my brows would look a whole lot better. Now, mind you, my brows are very light, so you barely see them. But because she cleaned them up, you can see them better. So if and when I put makeup on, I normally draw in my brow. And I take my little blade, the little one you get from the beauty supply store. I think it's like $1.99. I normally take and just clean my brows up, right? And keep on moving, right? Because wax is a no-go. Tinting is absolutely a no-go. And now threading is also a no-go. I've learned a valuable lesson. Listen to your body. Okay? So every experience carries a lesson. And when we choose to reflect instead of regret, we gain something valuable. Wisdom. At my big old age, I should have known better. Okay? Some lessons you can hear 100 times, but you only truly understand them once life shows up. Or when life shows you. So it can show you and show up and show out. Trust me. So, what's one life lesson experience that has taught you that you wish you knew earlier? What is one life lesson experience that taught you that you wish you knew better? Or you wish you knew earlier? I'm sorry. Now, going back to trusting your instincts. That hesitation was certainly my intuition, reminding me what I already knew. So, have you ever ignored your instincts and later realized you were right the first time? Because lessons will repeat. Sometimes we repeat lessons. We hope the outcome will be different. But life will keep giving us the same lesson until we finally pay attention. But now you also got to give yourself grace. You also got to give yourself grace. Because we all have moments when we say, I knew better. But that doesn't mean we beat ourselves up. It just means we've learned. Okay? So give yourself grace when that experience comes around and you ignored that inner voice and you did it anyway. And then later regretted it and said to yourself, I knew better. Just don't beat yourself up. It just means you have learned. You are coming into that wisdom phase. That wisdom is showing up for you. So don't be too hard on yourself. Okay? Don't be too hard. So this week on Cup of Cocoa and Chat, we're talking about the lessons life keeps teaching us. So we'll be talking about that all week long. I'll be posting things, and I'll probably post the video that I did on Sunday showing you the puffiness of my eyebrow. Now, it still itch a little bit. I'm still a little groggy and drowsy from all the Benadryl that I took yesterday. I don't think I'm going to take any Benadryl today. I definitely learned a lesson. Trust me. But all week long, we will be posting about the lessons life keeps teaching us. So some lessons come from mistakes, some come from experience, and some come from simply learning to trust ourselves. But every lesson, big or small, helps shape who we become. Okay? Maybe this week you'll reflect on a relationship that taught you something. Maybe you'll make a small change with your money. Maybe you'll listen to your body and take better care of your health. Or maybe the lesson is simply learning to trust that inner voice that has been guiding you all along. Okay? Whatever the lesson may be, remember this: growth does not always come from perfect decisions. Sometimes it comes from courage to learn, adjust, and keep moving forward. So as you go through this week, take a moment to ask yourself, what is life trying to teach me right now? And more importantly, am I willing to listen to it? Okay? So the question is, what is life trying to teach me right now? And am I willing to listen? Now, before we close, here's what's coming up the rest of the week in the Cocoa Circle. Tomorrow's Tuesday, so that is Sip on This Tuesday, where I'll share a quick thought to carry you through the day. Wednesday is my product review day. I normally share a product I found on TikTok or that TikTok, one of the shops sent me, or a product from Amazon that I purchased, and I give my honest thoughts or my 2 cents. On Thursday is our quiet cocoa moment. I simply reflect or quote something peaceful to pause and think about. Okay? And Friday is very flexible. I might do a YouTube premiere, a talking head video or conversation, or just a thought to post to wrap up the week. So, again, that's my 2 cents. I want to thank you for spending this time with me on Cup of Cocoa and Chat podcast, where we sip, share, and start the day with intention. Until next time, take care of yourself, trust your journey, and keep growing. Peace and blessings. I love you guys, and I mean it.